Okay, yes, well, one sec. The focus is off. But yeah, it's good.
Alright, so I'm saying all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakakadash, the warners of the apostles and elders of great news on the whole world, and shalom to the elect. So, continuing on with the book of Revelations, this week we got Revelations 14th chapter, and yeah man, we're going to go into it. Lord, will you be edified? You want to read or I'll read? I might as well read them here, read them. Alright, that says Revelation 14:1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads.
Yeah, and that's yeah. Well, I'll read it, but it's talking about, you know, the first fruits of the elect. They're the main ones that are basically going to be forming the governing body going into the kingdom. And in Revelation 7 it goes into it. It's what the 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. And that's well, I should read it because I got it. Revelation 7 and 4, and I heard the number of them that were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. And it goes into each of the tribes, how there's 12,000 from each. And it said what's sealed with the name of the Most High in their foreheads. That's that mark, that fawah, the exemption from judgment, you know, which is the righteous, the basically righteous mark, as opposed to, you know, Esau's wicked mark that he's going to be putting upon the people that are basically going to be down with him. You got the, you know, the karagma, and then the the exemption from judgment. And I get it as you going for it.
Yeah,
or?
I'll read that.
Okay.
And then I've got a precept afterwards.
Okay.
This is the book of Ezekiel 9:4, and it reads, and the Lord said unto them, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark.
You know, Jerusalem's a people before it's a place. So it's like even wherever Jake is, it's still, these things still apply. And that's like now where Jake seems, well, it's funny because whilst the general public are just of Jake are just doing whatever the hell they're doing, a lot of these guys that, you know, they've sold out, they've got up in certain positions, these guys be finding out they're Jakes all the time. And then, you know, they'll post, they'll do certain things, they might do a little tune or two and drop it in there. But then what? They're, you know, they're already there. They've took the deal, man. But what? It shows the word spreading, man.
And going to the point, where Jerusalem, that's why even where the word came out of, where they come out from, Harlem. Around and Harlem, when you look it up, it goes back to the Dutch city Haarlem, or Haarlem, or however it's pronounced, which basically goes back to the word Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, which means city of peace. So through His Spirit, no matter where they set up, that shows you that they're gonna have that name put upon them. And then even the fact that you know, where we dwell in this world is also, you have a thing known as ghetto fabulous, right? Because wherever Jake go, that they live in the ghettos, but they've made it like a, you know, a fabulous thing, a thing of, you know, great wonder and splendor, yeah. So it's, but the point being, the word ghetto, it was my phone.
Oh no,
the word ghetto basically means the place where the Jews dwell, right? So let me read on. So it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city and through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Yeah, that mark on the forehead, man, for those that are sighing and crying, because it's like, especially with it being now 2021, you know, a stone's throw from 2022. The state of affairs of shit is wild, man. Went to a store and it was kind of like they had what do you call it, like children's books, and it was like so many of these children's books are basically just got things linked into Esau's agenda, man, which is like homosexuality, transgenderism, all these different things are basically just being pushed out in there. And it's funny because you think about it, it's like on the face of the earth, these guys make up like 1-2% of the global populace. But then as far as where you go, like that's something you'll brush into, especially when you deal with Western media, will be in almost every piece of media. Because why? Esau's been promoting these things, man. These are the things that make up his mark, man. You being down with all the different philosophies, all the forms of wickedness he's promoted, he's normalized, and he's pushed out there. But then what? It's for for those basically getting that righteous exemption from judgment. All those things are meant to turn your stomach, man. That's why, as far as for to continue being here, that shit is grating upon the spirit, man. It's taxing. Because why? It's those things are basically just riding up your spirit at all times. You basically got to keep it, keep it basically for you to maneuver around. You can't even just be like blazing and cursing everyone out. You just got to kind of be like, okay, burn, and then put that fire into doing the work.
So Sirach 17:10. But even at the scripture in Ezekiel 9:4, it applies to a whole different. It's the angel that went through during that time, but it's applicable to the time that's in now, we're in now, because you have an angel that's blocking Isaiah the 6th chapter, which I was trying to spoke with in Matthew 13. Angels that marked Israelites for destruction, but in this day and age, you also have what the mark of exemption being put on
that's
the
sealed.
elect. Yeah, they're being sealed. So this is Sirach 17:10, and the elect shall praise his holy name. So the elect are going to get the name of the Heavenly Father. So this is Revelations 14:2. So it says, and I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and he sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. And that song, I'm going to grab a precept because what I know was in there. That to show, I just had a pen in there. I forgot I left it there. This is the book of Matthew 11:16. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented. Sigh and cry. Alright? That's the point. Piped unto you. So they'll pipe them what? The song. The new song that no one could learn but the elect. Alright? And they couldn't dance to it. Why? Because they couldn't hear it. It's sort of like a dog whistle. It's in a tune they can't hear. So they just didn't react to it. I might have to look one of the scripture I want to read. Let's grab this precept quickly. Might as well speak if you got something to say.
I'm just gonna continue. But yeah, it's as far as that's how the Lord deals. He has his small portion. Those are the elect. That basically his chosen. That's who he's dealing with. That's who he's basically reinforcing, building up, purifying for the times to come. Because that's the time we're coming into, the time of Jacob's trouble. That's where it's going to be refined and revealed. Who are those that are down for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and those who aren't. And that's where you're going to have that line of differentiation. That's the same thing, because it's going to be Esau basically trying to lay claim. And that's what, his mark is basically for. It's basically showing that you're down with and in accord with everything that he pushes out. So that what? Then you're basically finding your lot with Esau, with his system. And then for those are the elect. Then what? throwing in your lot with Yahweh Shai, with Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and basically saying like, yo, I'm gonna ride out for this thing to the end. And it's gonna be, that's why it will get to the point where there'll be those that are put to death for that. You go into the gospel, it says it's like you'll be hated for my name's sake. And that's how it's gonna be. That's already how it is. It's just like with this Yab, you've had those lines. It's funny because you've had it since kind of going back to like after towards the end of Bush's time, and then like whilst Beezy was kind of in power, he had the push of just that dividing line, especially along racial lines, along political lines, on a bunch of issues. People have just got more and more like, hey, you're either completely down or you're the enemy. And that's how every issue's become, where it's like you either completely comply or you're or people are just going to be looking for your head.
I got the precept. It's Isaiah 42:9. It says, "Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise from the end of the earth. Ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, and the isles and the inhabitants thereof." But the point being, the new things being brought forth, and who can learn that new song? The elect, the 144,000. A lot of people know the old things. They know of Noah. They know of many different old prophecies, but the new things, as it tells you in Amos 3:7, it tells you, surely the Most High will do nothing but revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So they're the ones that are going to reveal all the secrets in his last days. Alright? So verse 4, it says,
Verse what? Revelation.
Yeah, Revelation. But
Did
also,
you get to verse 4?
I'll read verse 3 actually. I did get to, but I'll read verse 3, a little bit at the end. And they sang as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are redeemed from the earth. So who redeemed them? And why did they need to be redeemed? Right? Because the word redeem means to buy back. How they was basically sold or into slavery. Alright? And no one could redeem them but who? Yahweh Shai. Because going back to the book of Deuteronomy 28, it tells you about them not being able to be redeemed. Why? Because he said, the prophecy said, no man shall buy you. But Yahweh Shai making his life a ransom, then by the Heavenly Father giving the nation Israel over to him, all principalities. Colossians, the first chapter, goes into that. But then in this time it talks about the elect being in the hand of Yahweh Shai. And it speaks of none being lost but who? The son of perdition, who wasn't part of the elect. Alright? So Yahweh Shai in his time as we have it, he redeemed, alright, the elect. So as it said, which were redeemed from the earth. Alright? They were woken up out of their slumber and brought onto Yahweh Shai. Alright, the dry bones. Verse 4.
I got a precept on that. Revelation 21:2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the power of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. Yeah, so just like, we'll be redeemed from the earth, we'll also receive our reward upon the earth, man. Well, the rulership will take place upon the earth as well. When basically, New Jerusalem is basically returned, the new body's perfected back onto the earth, that'll be that New Jerusalem, and that'll be the kingdom on earth. Because that's something that, as far as for, these regular Christians, these guys are talking about, going to be in heaven, or all different forms of manners of breaking it down, but it's very straightforward. It's going to take place on earth. And that's why you're going to have this place basically be done away with. That's why it's like the missiles are being used. because fire is that cleansing agent. You go into the prophecies, goes into fire multiple times, has the weapon that's been crafted, man. These things,
Revelation 14 and 5 and 4 says that these are they which were not defiled with women, for they were virgins. These are they which followed the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Alright? And what does it mean by they were not defiled by women? It's talking about the woman of different doctrines, alright? Because what wisdom is compared to a woman, alright? Let me get that.
yeah, so it's all the different philosophies that you have in the world, and that's really the big point of how Esau gets people's minds out here, man. They're basically raised, and that's funny because it's like you go through the school system. There's a bunch of things you just kind of learn, and the people that go through it, that's not a system to put you on any kind of level to be able to break down and get into things in any significant way. It's basically just preparing you to be a worker drone. That's why it's like there's levels to it. You go from primary school or elementary school, then you go secondary school, college or sixth form, then you go uni, and it's like as you go up and up, it's more just like preparing you for just being that drone within society. And that's why it's like people that graduate from uni, they go into work, they're just doing the same thing, man. They're all depressed on fucking drugs, lose their fucking mind on the weekend, then go back to being a zombie for the 5 days of a week. That's what it's all about. What are you getting? You were getting something out.
Yeah,
Cool. Read this. Because the main,
where you go?
no, just the whole.
Well, let me get this because this is more to the point first. So it says this is Proverbs 5, and I'll start from verse 15. It says, drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only thine own, and not the strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Right, it's talking about the word. Right, the wife of our youth. That's what we have from the beginning. Because as it tells you in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, it tells you about wisdom, which is a feminine, is described as a feminine spirit. Alright? Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 25. Alright? That's why even the word philosophy, it goes to what is compound of two words, phil, meaning love, and then Sophia or Sophus, which means wisdom. Alright, because it's a feminine spirit. So it says, let thy fountain be, verse 18, let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Let her be as a loving hide and a pleasant roe. Alright. Now this is a scripture I looked for yesterday. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a stranger? Alright? So the elect, they don't know no strange woman. What does it tell you in the book of Romans 11? It tells you I have 7,000 haven't bowed their knee to Baal. And why is that? Because it was speaking of, back then the Lord had 7,000 dealing with in the time of Elijah. But guess what? Now it's talking about 144,000 that the Lord is dealing with. Alright? You got something?
Yeah. Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 12? 12, yeah. Wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such a seeker. She preventeth them that desire her, in making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be taken without care. For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her, showeth herself favourably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. Yeah, so it's wisdom is not something that can be met by everyone. Whereas, for folly, that's easily found. That's why it's like now you have folly and great dignity. Now it's as far as, wisdom, discernment, those things, integrity, all the values, in the ancient world would have held sway. Now they're gone. That's why it's like it's a complete and total rarity to find anyone that's down. And these are the things. That's why it's like those are the elect. They're basically maneuvering a completely alien way, alien manner to how people maneuver now. And it's funny because even with Israel, they were looked at like differently for how they conducted themselves even in the ancient world. How much more so now, where wickedness is at its peak, everything's moving a completely modern, all the ancient values are now just thrown in the bin. You even mention any of that, people start getting grrr.
So it's the book of Solomon 3:1. By night on my bed I sought him, whom my soul loveth. I sought him and found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets, in the broad ways. I will seek him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not. The watchman that goeth about the city found me. Literally, this is how I come in the faith as well. I was out on the street, man. Some nigga took me to church, man. I was there, and I was like, nah, this ain't it, man. I tried to get in it, and my soul wasn't in it. And then a watchman basically found me. Verse 3, the watchman that goeth about the city found me, to whom I said, say ye him whom my soul loveth. It was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth. I held him and would not let him go, until I had brought him into my mother's house, and into the chamber of her that conceived me. That's it, so let's read on. So it's the book of Revelations 14:5. And in their mouth was found no guile. Oh, slut, let me...
You still have a bit more for.
Yeah, verse 4. These are they which were not defiled by women, for they are virgins. Alright, and that when you go into marriage, you might want to grab Revelation 16 about the white sheets represent the righteousness. Their white garments. 19 and 8. Yeah, just hold that. Yeah, so what does it mean when you have a virgin bride? What does she appear in a wedding in the ancient world? All right, and what did it represent? It represented her purity because she hadn't been known a man, and then you'd have the token which would be laid for when the man enter in, he would break her hymen, all right, as it's known today, and the blood from the hymen would be a token for the parents to hold in the case of, which they give account of, if the man tried to bring any form of folly to or disgrace to the family, they'd have that token, which is basically a receipt of the marriage. You got it? Revelation 19:8.
Revelation 19:8, and to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
You might want to read from 7, so it gives it context.
Okay. let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him. For the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to
The
her,
wife being, when you go to the book of Jeremiah, it tells you about Israel being a woman of the Most High, or known as a woman, alright?
and to her was granted she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
That's it. So, yeah, it says, these are days which follow, verse 4, these are halfway through. These are days that follow the Lamb whithersoever it goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. Alright? And in their mouth was found no guile, for they were without fault before the throne of the Most High. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them. And why was there no guile found in their mouth? Like unto Jeremiah, like unto Isaiah. Isaiah, you had the coal put in his mouth. He said, I believe it's Isaiah where he said, I'm a man of unclean lips. And then he put the coal upon his mouth and made his mouth clean. Alright? That's why there was no guile. Even though we were heathens, we were aliens to the covenant prior to the revealing the faith, the revealing of the faith to us. But once we were brought into this, guess what? The Lord makes us clean. Alright, yeah, Isaiah was. You got a precept? No? I'll read on.
No.
And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Alright? And that shows you it's a spirit that the angels been put out. Because what it told you, read in Revelation 7, that basically the destruction couldn't come until what? The elect had been sealed in their foreheads. So there was an angel that actually went about enabling that to happen, whilst the other angels held back the destruction. Alright?
Yeah, I did have the precepts.
Right.
I forgot just more on first fruits. Jude 1 and 6. And angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, if reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. So yeah, those of the first fruits, it's those same angels that were put into into the chains of darkness. That's why it's like all these things have basically been set since before the world was made. It was like portion. Okay, these are going to be those of the elect. These are going to be those that aren't, and then the heathen. It's all the spiritual portion, and hey, your destiny was set. And that's the thing. Now is what we're doing is we're playing it out. It's like you got the script. You have a movie. You have the script. Everyone will go and be like, okay, they'll set up the scene, then they'll go action, and everyone plays their roles. We're in the midst of that, and now it's the final act of Esau's role. That's why it's it's through the spirit, basically, who's accounted in that number, and that's part of what why people have such issue with the word, man. When you break down the word, you do with it the Christian look. It's meant to just be like, you can just be doing any form of madness. You know about the word. You're just meant to know about any form of madness, but then you just go and say like, you go to a priest, and then man's meant to just cleanse you of every sin. When you knew about the word and you were just like backshotting little boys 5 minutes ago. Give me a break.
Alright, Revelation is 14 and 5, it says, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they were without fault before the throne of the Most High. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Why? Because Israel was scattered among every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. verse 7, saying,
I'll go a quick one just on that. Acts 2 and 5. And they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. So even 2,000 years ago, Jake was scattered.
That's it. Verse 7, saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. Alright? And worship him that had made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. What's it told in the book of Luke 12? Alright? See the salvation that is near. Lift up your head towards the heaven. I'm just paraphrasing, you could look it up. But that's basically talking about who? The elect. Alright? Because the elect are the ones that are basically going to glory in it. I read it already. In Sirach 17. About them basically the elect giving glory unto the Lord's name. Because they're going to have the name. And they followed, verse 8, and they followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Alright? They bought into her system. Revelation 13 went into it. The whole world wondered after the beast. Alright? But in doing so, there's going to be a judgment for it. Verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Alright?
Yeah. It's that's the judgment. Because as far as taking out Mark, that's basically you joining hand in hand with Esau. You're basically riding out with him to the end. And that's it's even those, it's really as simple as those that aren't gonna get down. So like those that aren't gonna get down with Yahweh Shai, they're basically gonna have to be done away with. Let me get this. Luke 19 and 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. So as far as for those enemies, and it's funny because it's that's a quote from there's a quote from what's his name, George Bush, man. I think after they started the invasion of Iraq, or just before, where he said, if you're not with us, you're against us. Well, that's how Yahweh Shai gets down. It's like you get with a program, or you be counted as an enemy, and that's how it's gonna be. It's like when it comes down to that final time of judgment, basically you're gonna join in with Esau's judgment, man. There's one other I was gonna get. I can't even remember what. What verse was it? Completely forgot. You got something?
No, go on. Email Luja.
Cool.
Well, I've got something. I'll read it quickly, actually. This is Psalms 91 and 4. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under the wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day, talking about the ICBMs, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, ICBMs again, alright? Also known as what? Noisome pestilence, alright? 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee, alright? Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, okay, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. And that's basically them being tormented in the presence of the beast of, Salakia, in the presence of the holy angels.
Yeah.
Saying
Proverbs 18 and 10. And the name of the Lord Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. That's the place. That's where that hiding's gonna be.
that's where it starts, man. It starts there. That's why they have the name of the Heavenly Father in their foreheads. But it also, man, it translates from the spiritual, that mark of exemption into the physical when it actually happens physically upon the earth. All right. Let me read this quickly.
Oh, you got something
Quick
else?
one, yeah.
Go on,
Matthew's 24. I know once I see it, I'm gonna read it. And 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. That's it.
Revelation 18 and 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Yeah, that's all as far as everyone's intermingling, man. All these kings of the earth, they're all doing deals. Everyone's dealing with the beast. So then what? It's they're basically gonna receive judgment in kind, man. It says what says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Yeah. So those the elect are gonna come out of her. But then what? It's those that are making deals, those that are in the system, those that have accepted all the philosophies and everything from it, they're going to partake in the destruction, man.
Reading on. So it says, Revelations 14:11, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they had no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever received the mark of his name. Let me get this precept to back up that. What's the smoke talking about forever and ever? There's two scriptures you can go to. And I'll go to this one. This is Isaiah 34:8, and it reads, For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of his of recompenses, for the controversy of Zion, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation shall lie waste. None shall pass through. Forever and ever. Actually, there's multiple scriptures, but I'll read this one because it kind of brings it in as well. Isaiah 13 and 17. Before I will stir up the Medes against them, and they shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah? The Heavenly Father made it rain fire and brimstone. Alright? Verse 20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and the dragons in the pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So yeah, that's basically the destruction of what? Of America, alright, and it being turned into a desert wasteland where only desert creatures are going to dwell. And it says the same thing. Isaiah 11 says the Korah man, Isaiah 34 and 11, you read on it, goes into it. The different creatures says the same thing.
You don't, yeah. Jeremiah 51 and start from 1. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Jehovah."
Be sure you get to the point, man. Yeah, get to the point. I'm just saying, get to the point.
Behold, I will. What you want to read down? Yeah?
Well, it depends how much you got to read into it, because
it's I can do down to like 8. But I wanted to just get. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Yeah, against him that bendeth, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. Yeah, so those fanners, that destroying wind, that links up with what the 4 angels basically holding back the destruction, man. Because like in this new Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, it's gonna be that wind of destruction, which is, dealing with the missiles, man. I'll skip down. So it says, verse 7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord Jehovah's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly falling. Yeah, everyone's basically drunk and out of their minds, but what the Lord's basically going to put the spirit on them. Everyone's going to turn against Babylon, against New Babylon, America, man. It's basically going to be what's the term I was looking for? The hell's that Will Smith movie called? Man? Enemy of the state, man. It's going to be #1 enemy of all the other states, man. With their nation, like I said, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. Yeah. So there's no healing. There's no averting the judgment that Babylon's gonna have to face. And that's really what all these Esau's trying to do. Because as far as for him, it's like he's done seen brothers on YouTube online pushing the word out. The word's been intensifying, man. Especially through 2020, it just went absolutely gangbusters. Because why? And so many prophecies were being fulfilled. That's why it's really Esau's just been trying to make that come to an end, man. But then even that, when as far as when the word stops going out, the famine of the word, that's also in prophecy. So Esau can't do anything against it. Everything he's doing is working towards his downfall. And that's why it's any means by which he's going to try and avert that ain't going to work out in his favor, man.
Okay, so this is Revelations 14 and 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandment. Man, I'm sitting all awkward, man. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahweh Shai. Alright? And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord. So this is the patience and the faith of the saints. Alright? The reward unto the wicked, them base America being destroyed and us being saved out of this captivity. That's our patience. As long as we endure unto the end. Okay. Verse 13, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord, from henceforth, yeah, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. Alright? So what the showing of our faith, basically our works follow us. And they're gonna be wrote of and they're gonna be renowned in the kingdom. Alright? And I heard a voice from the heavens saying unto Salakia, and I looked, and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one that sat like unto the Son of Man, being Yahushua, having on his head a golden crown, alright, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And this scripture is reiterated in multiple ways in different scriptures throughout the book of Revelations, alright. And another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And guess what? That's when the Lord gave the green light. Alright, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Because Yahweh Shai said he doesn't know that, I can't remember verbatim, but it says he doesn't even know when the Lord is going to give the green light. He's waiting for the go, right, when the Lord tells him, right? And there's an angel designated to tell him that. And he that sat on the cloud, Salakia, verse, 16. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple, which was in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the altar with him, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud voice to him that had the sharp